right, welcome to the Krueg Show, Monday night edition, post-Giants D-backs. Giants win. They're over 500. The playoffs are within sight. Let's not get too fired up.
You know where
They did get a win tonight over the Diamondbacks. They did give Madison Bumgarner a standing ovation, and we are on the Krueg Show. I'm Larry Krueger. That's Ryan Smith up top there. Dan Coccimilgio looking very intelligent. Normally Dan looks like an idiot, but yeah, very intelligent with the dark rimmed glasses. He's
Costco, baby.
He could be part of the show. He could be a librarian. He's just right there. He's looking sharp. He's got the giant hat. What does the shirt say, Danny? Anything good? Relax.
UA.
Oh, look at you. Under Armour. These guys just a walking billboard. And the Giants get a win. All right, Joey Bart's starting to heat it up, fellas, and the Giants get a win, and they start this series. They keep the momentum going out of the Pirates series, which was good to see. They swept the Pirates over the weekend, and now they're keeping it rolling, and we're going to get rolling on the chat here in just a minute. We got lots of people in the chat. Romo 2001, I see you. J Stamps, I see you. MF, I see you.
Matthew Mears, we see you.
He says, get rid of Rodgers.
Dan definitely sees you all.
Mark Graves,
actually really
this is
good.
like
Rodgers.
This is like
Rodgers,
the beginning
what's Gabe
of
doing? Pulling Rodgers with the bases
right,
loaded. What's wrong with Kapler, man? Come
on.
I love Rodgers.
Pipe down. Mark Graves, I see you. This is kind of like Romper Room. Do you guys remember Romper Room?
No.
As a kid?
No.
It's before your time, Rye, but Danny remembers it. The show would start. It was a kid's show.
Romper Room, Larry, as a kid?
It was a kid's show, and I'm not sure if it was at the beginning of the show or at the end of the show, but the host would get on there, and they'd be like, I see Billy, and I see Johnny, I see Mary.
Oh, I heard about that.
And I remember as a little kid, and me and my sister would we're here. We're right here. We're here. Hey, do you see us?
Larry.
I see Tommy. I see Philip.
You know what Ryan grew up on,
Johnny. Like, they don't see me, Mom. Why don't they see me?
What did I grow up on, Dan?
You grew up on Teletubbies.
I did grow up on Teletubbies.
Oh, my God. But I see J Stamps, I see MF, I see Romo, I see DJ Venus, I see Spencer Stewart, I see Nick J, I see Rebel 4444, I see Mark Hope in the house, Joshua Shaw's in there, Victor, Matthew Mears. We got the whole group. Everybody's in town. Vicky, there's Vicky. I see Vicky Boone. So we got a lot of our friends in the chat, and we will be engaging with them very, very shortly. Mark Graves, what the fuck, Cap? Had 4 straight left-handed hitters up, and you start Rodgers to begin the inning. All right. Who wants to go first? Does anybody? First of all, that's not crap on the Giants. They won 6-1.
I'd like to raise my hands. I'm asking for a ruling from you two gentlemen, as well as all of our gentlemen and gentlewomen in the chat. So, Larry, you weren't on for this part, but Dan and I ended up just going pretty late last night. We just kind of got going, and we let the optimism pour through our veins a little bit. All right, you're going to hear a little clip of something I said, and give me the ruling.
Wait a minute.
On this.
Do we have a new member?
Oh, do we? Joshua Shaw.
Joshua Shaw's in the house. Brand new YouTube member. Look at that. Joshua Shaw.
Much respect, Josh.
Joshua, I don't think you realize how fortunate you are, because you have just become a YouTube member of the Krueg Show literally days before we start producing exclusive 49er and Giant content. How about that, Joshua? So
and
welcome aboard.
League, he made it in. He made it in.
That's right. You can play in our fantasy league as well. If you want to play fantasy football with us this year, you better join the Krueg Show, because we're playing with our peeps. this year, Rise the Commissioner. We're going to play the Yahoo League 12-team non-PPR. 12-team, right?
Yeah, 12-team.
12-team non-PPR league.
I actually set it up as half-point PPR. I like a good half point.
Oh no!
You got to let the James Whites of the world get some sort of benefit.
He retired. He just retired.
All right, then. Who else? What about like? Okay, well now I'm just talking.
Now make sure you draft Austin Eckler or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what do you guys got? Give me your feedback on this one. Joey Bart starting to swing the bat better.
We need a ruling on this because I think that there is an argument to be made that this kind of came true considering how well he played.
Here, unless anybody's got want to start firing off donations here.
Yeah,
we'll stay on longer, but I'm pretty beat, man.
I'm beat. Yeah, 2 hours and 45 minutes for like a random stream.
Were you guys donation heavy?
I called Dan like 10 minutes before. And I just like rushed. I didn't even know what to title it.
We kind of struck out. Yeah, but anyway, as tune in tomorrow, guys, on the Krueg channel. 95.7 The Game. Larry will be on with Mark Willard from 9 to noon. And then we'll be back tomorrow night
after the Giants
game. Giants take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. It should be Alex Cobb. Let's see. I hope it's not we're not going to be seeing Kelly for the Diamondbacks. Let's see. Merrill Kelly. Alex Cobb against Mad Bum tomorrow night. Whoa. Yeah. Mad Bum back in the house.
For the
that
boys.
Should be a fun one. Giants, according to
I'm super down to like have like a drink the Kool-Aid episode like tomorrow, like it just a super positive episode if they end up winning.
Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, let's just live in this little dream world for a little bit. Why not?
Tuesday night, that's the toughie. Merrill Kelly against Jacob Junis, who had a rough outing the other day. And then Wednesday, I think it'll be Rodon's turn. Let me see.
If Joey Bart hits a home run against Bumgarner tomorrow, off of Bumgarner, the Giants are making the playoffs.
Oh, right. He missed it by 2 feet. They're going to fall too short.
I know. So, okay, what do you think? Because he had a swaggy-ass bunt off Bumgarner. Then he had an unbelievable opposite field, didn't even get all of it, put it in the air to right field, and it was right there, and then hit a laser beam to left field that ended up being a single because it was such a freaking laser beam, and those all three were off Mad Bum. And you know what? I think that I am leaning towards now being the Kool-Aid man.
Well, that counts as a home run. That's a double and 2 singles. That's 4 bags.
Yeah.
There you go.
4 bags off Bum. It's been revised.
More importantly, Joey Bart has raised his average from 155 to 234 or 233 in 5 weeks. So he's heated up. He had 3 hits tonight. Big night for Longo. Big night for J.D. Davis, who had a couple hits. And Alex Cobb continues to pitch well. 6 innings, only gave up the 1 earned run. Tyler Rogers came on in a lower leverage situation. Thank you, Gabe. He's starting to learn a little bit. Go with Rogers earlier. Thank you. He went 2/3, gave up a hit and a walk. Still had a couple base runners.
You had to put Rogers in at that point, even though there's lefties. They're up 5. I mean, he got him out of there.
Use him early. Don't use him late. Use him early. That's my thought on it.
Was that the 7th or the 6th he came in?
7th.
Okay, Cobb went 6, right?
Wait,
right.
Yeah, Cobb went 6. Yeah, the double play saved him. So they're up 6-1. He got, that was a place to be, have him in. Fortunately, they took him out when they did. And but you gotta, if he's gonna be on the staff, you gotta use him as an innings eater. I was hoping he would be able to eat up 2 innings tonight and get out of with no problems in the 7th. But I was looking afterwards, after the game, looking online to see how do you find out how many options a guy has. Does he have any minor league options? How do you find that out?
You just go to there's a website. It's called getalife.com, and you just go and you type in your code if you have a monthly code, and then I think you have to do a retinal scan, but yeah, you can get in there. It's real easy. GetAlife.com.
Cool.
Yeah,
I figured you might know, Larry, because who's the center again for the New York Jets?
Do not go down that road with me, damn it. I'll mute your ass. I don't care. Light rims, dark rims, chicken ass, beef ass. I don't care what completes you're bringing to the table. I'll mute your shit. All right?
By the way, I financially invested. I put a solid, and for a man who's really, I'm financially about like this right now, and I put down a $200 bet on the Giants to win the series. Minus 200. That's how
what? The World Series?
No. This series.
So they got to win 3.
Oh,
they got to win 3 for.
They're going to win tonight.
I thought Rye had lost it.
No. That would have been a great, Dave Roberts, future Ryan problem.
You know what I would have said to you? I would have said, hey, you know what? I'll book that for you. Why don't you give me that, and I'll book that for you, and I'll get that. I'll make sure I get that down for you. Yeah.
I try to. I always win my. What I do when I bet real modestly. But I take the first inning, no score, almost every game, and I've only
I also
lost
bet on the
twice.
Dodgers, who are, by the way, they're just gonna.
I've only lost twice, and then I take a couple of prop bets. Like tonight, I tried a brand new one. I says it was the odds. I like the odds. They were like plus 750 for a first home run of the game, a 3-run homer, and I was like, Longo hit the 2-run homer, but at one point. Giants had first and second, and I was like, "Come on, somebody hit a 3-run homer!" And but
you know what's fun? When I sit in with Willard, one thing that Willard and Dibbs do on their show on 95.7 The Game is them and the producer every night bet one game. One game it could be baseball, it could be anything. Dibbs always goes with some crazy cockamamie international tennis and whatever. Yeah. He's just picking just crap stuff that makes no difference at all.
I heard you pick the Dodgers tonight.
I picked the Dodgers tonight because the Dodgers had lost. They were coming off a loss. They had Urias on the mound. Freddie Peralta features a lot of fastballs. LA may be the best fastball hitting team in the entire league, and Urias has had a lot of success lately. I went Dodgers 4-0 Dodgers over the Brewers.
Wow, so you know what? Wait, Tally Hat says $10 to win 2,000.
What's that for the Giants to win the World Series?
Yeah,
$10 to win 2,000.
All right, this is what we're gonna do.
That's not a bad bet, just to have fun.
All right, where is it?
But what do you guys think? Maybe we should do that, and then at the end of the week, maybe we'll compare who's the winner.
Yeah, you got to
maybe bet one game every night.
You got to add in the background.
Do I?
Fastball. One goes off of the plate and comes up empty.
Oh, that's
McCutchen is second, one gone.
God dang it! Damn Dodgers.
McCutchen.
ESPN just absolutely will force their commercials on you.
They do.
My God, enough.
All right, $10 to win 1,000. There we go. Why not? Boom.
Okay, couple quick things on tonight's game. One, Jock Peterson again did not hit a home run. He has not hit a home run since June the 25th. It's the second longest dry spell of his career. Hasn't homered. He said before the game, I haven't hit a home run in a fucking year. I need to figure out how to slug again. I guess his adjustments. He's got new walk-up music, and he had a shipment of Pete Alonso's bats that were sent to him by the Mets slugger. But what gets Jock going again? That's one question. The other question is, and somebody has made the point. I saw Damon tweeting this a little bit. About how the attendance was so low. You had Bumgarner there.
Yeah, there was more seagulls there than the people.
What did they list the attendance at? Do you see that anywhere?
I'll look it up real quick here.
Yeah, I'll look it up. The attendance was...
I bet it was about 13,000.
I mean, it looked empty as hell. Yeah, how about, what'd you think of when Bumgarner... That was legitimately kind of scary, that when they showed the replay of that ball over Luis Gonzalez's head. I mean, that could have hit him in the face. And that was weird.
The fans gave him a nice standing ovation when he walked off. I mean, and they you know, some Giants fans remember what he did in 2014. But you know, I was commenting on Twitter that, you know, it's taken now 20 plus years at Oracle Park, but the Giants have officially settled into their exact same rhythm that they had at Candlestick Park, which is Dodgers come to town, huge crowds. Weekend, huge crowds. Day baseball during the week, good sized crowds. Yeah. Weekday night games, horrible. It's friends and family. It's literally friends and family.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. I mean, they showed the game. They showed the bleachers right at the first pitch of the game. There was nobody in the bleachers. I mean, it was like literally like 5 sections of bleachers and like 25 people in them. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It's a bummer. I mean, they're.
I didn't get rid of my tickets.
They're a boring team on paper, but you know what? I'm going to be Mr. Optimist unless they don't win 3 out of 4 versus the Diamondbacks, then I'll go back. But as long as they win 3 out of 4, a lot of different.
I had like 30 or so comments on people's reasoning or their reaction to my tweet. One of the guys, Jay Garcia, said the biggest item is no one works in the city anymore. Fans used to go to work and leave in the 6th and head back to the South Bay or the East Bay. Those patrons are no longer there Monday through Thursday. That's a huge deal.
No, for real.
That I think is definitely true. One guy just said they're not winning anymore, but they weren't winning at, is it that what it's about? It's just about winning. Just about if the team's winning, they're there. Otherwise people won't support anything that's not a winner. Orlando says, give the fans a consistent winner and the crowds will show up. These games cost too damn much to pay an arm and a leg to see pop outs, ground balls, and late inning collapses from the Giants bullpen. SF Giants guy says, doesn't help that the product is boring. MBL tells me that I'm behind the times. He said he's been eating his midweek Rockies, D-backs, Padres, and other tickets for years, even pre-pandemic. John says the cost of living has gone up substantially, and the Giants' key offensive signing was Jock Peterson. You're getting what you put into it. That's interesting. DW says it's still fun to go, just like it was fun to go to the Stick. But with this team, there's bad baseball and no star power. There were actually lineups that had Yermin Mercedes batting third and Wins DHing. Eric says this is what happens when they charge a premium and put out a mediocre product. Shaka Chuck said maybe it's because the ownership doesn't take the team seriously by spending real money. Why have serious fans if you don't invest seriously? Bruce says school started last week, which changes parents' availability. Summer vacations are over for many who had been visiting San Francisco. If the Giants are in the race September 10th, bigger crowds will appear. And then David says the reality is the cost of the food and the gas is causing a lot of this. And, as far as live entertainment is taking a big hit. This roster is the equivalent of a good cover band that's demanding a price of the original band they're covering. That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Stewart says the team needs to win to fill the park on weeknights. And then Eric says the ballpark experience at Oracle Park has gotten stale. He says since 2017, the team has been uninspiring on the field, except for last year. As someone who attends 15 to 20 games a year and travels 80 miles each way, I wonder sometimes if it's worth my time and my money. Chetta Man the Plug says, yeah, they need to get into the Aaron Judge sweepstakes. They desperately need him. It would help the offense and it would help ticket sales. Another guy said, James Tang, as it should when the product is boring and pointless, lots of better activities to spend your hard-earned money on. And then Danny, this is the guy who's basically talking about you. He says, my car, my rules. That's his handle. He says, just check the resale market. Wow. You can sit lower for next to nothing. Mm-hmm. Lawrence says a revolving door lineup with no marketable stars is probably the real problem. So another guy says they're still drawing, on pace for 2.5 million. 2.5 million, that's not drawing. The Dodgers drew 3 million fans in the 70s. So, okay, so what do you guys think? I mean, a lot of interesting answers there. What's your theory? If you had to say, what's the number one reason that the Giants fans show up on the weekend, show up for the most part weekday day, show up for the Dodgers, but non-Dodgers weeknight games, no, they're not going. Do you have a theory?
Yeah. I think the Dodgers, it's more than half Dodger fans show up. Weekends, I think a lot of people travel to the city in the summer and come from out of town, and people like to go into the city from maybe take that 50-mile drive or 80-mile drive, as one mentioned. Just go up to the city, enjoy. But a weeknight, it's cold. The team's is boring as hell. Has been this year, really has been since 2017. If you look at the product since the second half of 2016, they've had one good season last year, 2021. 2017, they lost 98 games. 2018, I don't remember how many they lost, close to 88, 80, somewhere in that range. 2019, that was Boch's last year. They were competitive until about September, then they fell apart. 2020, no baseball. 2021, magical year. So
Brian says the Giants are channeling the WNBA.
You put a winning team on there.
Bart's presence, and Bart's just like, guy's got swag now. He's got a little swag up at the plate. He's got all jelly arms, getting ready for the pitch. It's completely opposite from the beginning of the year. And honestly, just having Bart kind of go on a run and show us like a sneak peek of what this could be like for the next 10 years, that is enough to actually, that's how boring they've been. It's getting me excited. And I'm back in at this point. Like, I also think that a large part of it, at least for like the casual sports fan, is, the Warriors are the most entertaining product in all of professional sports. And we got to watch that. And like, we went through all the stress and all that of the playoffs, and it went deep into June. And then it's like, all right, now it's the Giants are playing. Okay. All right.
Well, and then
the Niners are going to be the most entertaining team to watch for the first 6-7 games of the year. So I think that is a big part of it. It's the come down partially of the Warriors. And look, last year we won games, and that kind of brought people to the ballpark. And also, the Warriors had kind of a downer, more of a downer year.
Look at when they started winning in 2010. Buster, Lincecum, Mad Bum. They had guys you wanted to go out and see. Pence, just the different guys. And then they win. They sold out like 7 straight years, every game. Didn't matter. I mean, fans didn't even start falling off until the 2017 season. Yeah. They actually had sellouts in that crappy year in 2017. That's when the streak broke.
Val Ramos says, Danny, I'll buy any tickets you want to sell me. Just let me know.
You want to go tomorrow night, Val?
Dan's got the hookup. Hey, seriously, though, would you
I've got tickets
realistically,
for the next few days.
Okay, let's say 10 years from now, when it's been 10 years since this great Warriors run, I bet that Chase Center is not always packed. If we're putting out kind of a crappy product, but
what's the number one reason? Is it the cost? Is it the competitiveness of the club? Is it the city is feces and needles? Is it nobody's working in the city? Is it? What's the? Is it school started? What is the reason? Because somebody said, I put it up there a second ago. Man, it was packed yesterday. Yeah, it was packed on Saturday and Sunday.
It's the product. The product will bring, if I guarantee you, if they were
in a pennant race right now, and they were fighting for even first place, let's say, and they're winning back-to-back years, people are going to show up during the season. There's going to be more season ticket holders. And if they actually get some players that are exciting to watch, that's why what he's doing is so important, because he's homegrown. And if he continues,
he's fun to watch. He's got a lot of power.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Blend of cost and no stars on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you get a couple of stars.
Matthew Mears says it's like $80 to park right now. Is that true?
Well, I pay $30 on the weeknights over
you don't park at
Red Java. I park at Red Java and walk. That's why I'm in so good shape. Look, I can look. Let me show you. I am.
Right.
No, don't take your shirt off. Don't take your shirt off.
I am Biloba or Ginkgo. What was that guy's picture tonight? Ginkle.
He does it fast, though.
Yeah, that was kind of weirdest lineup. It looked like he was taking a dump every time he went to pitch.
Maybe he
It
was.
seemed like it was, I thought, maybe almost like a balk.
Yeah, that's what they said on the Arizona broadcast. Bob Brenly said when they had him second and third, after he said he said it looked like he balked there. He looked like his leg moved up before his glove came all the way
area.
down.
The Giants should get Aaron Judge. Attendance will boost easily. He says because superstars equal ticket sales. Okay, I'll throw that out to you. Is there a player? Is there a player that the Giants could get in the offseason? Aaron Judge, Trey Turner, Sean Manaea, Andrew Benintendi, Kiki Hernandez, Josh Bell. Is there a player that they could go attract in free agency that would pack the house? That literally would pack the house.
I think the only name is Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, I think Aaron Judge comes here. It doesn't really change anything. I mean, we have somebody that's somewhat exciting, but if we're winning 84 games and kind of being pathetic, all of a sudden he's just going to have bad body language, and it's going to be like watching an unhappy superstar that was just in New York and had all the bright lights and hit 60, and then now all of a sudden he's only got 39 because of this ballpark, and the team's not doing that well. He's not going to bring people out to the ballpark. I don't think.
By the way, first sign of drug use on our show. Robert Rothberg checking in with a healthy SF Giant team can contend with anyone.
Hey, since Robert was on the show and showed that optimism, they are undefeated. So I think they're. I think. Robert,
this really tells you there's a drug crisis in America.
Hey, if the Giants continue to win, we're going to have Robert Rothberg T-shirts.
We have to.
If they make the playoffs, it'll be like Krueg and Robert Rothberg. He called it. He said 40-11, and what have they gone since then?
We will make sure that Robert Rothberg is in the parade if the Giants win the World Series.
Callie Hatz's Lot A is $35.
The thing with the
parking has gotten obscene.
Yeah,
let's be honest. I mean, that's just theft.
At least gas isn't too high.
It should be based on parking. Should be based on the crowd itself. I mean, if it's a big game, you should charge a little bit more. If it's a crappy game, it shouldn't cost you like $10 to park or something.
They used to at the beginning of the park, when they first built the park, they hadn't adjusted all the meters downtown. So if you wanted to park, let's say north of the ballpark in the downtown area, south of Market, you could put it at a meter. The meters, I think, shut off at 6. So you could get to a meter at 5 and pay for an hour and leave it there. Now, these guys are the city is such crooked, they're such crooks and they're such shysters. It's like, okay, well, now we're gonna make it, the meters, you have to pay your meter, it's like $7 an hour and the meters run till 10. So, so you can put it at a meter, but you're still going to wind up paying like, $24. So then it's like, well, $24 to be at a meter and walk through, human feces and needles and step over homeless people, or put it in the lot for the extra $6. Right. I mean, that's the decision they're asking you to make. Do you want the feces and the needles and the homeless? You save $6, or no feces, no needles, no homeless, but you get in the lot and you're paying $6 extra.
If they were smart, they'd run it till only till 8:00 and maybe make $14 or something like that instead of getting nothing, but that's kind of how some people think. So as far as the superstar, I'll say this. A lot of it has to do with the Giants started to really draw when they moved to, Pac Bell, then now Oracle, but they had stars at Candlestick. Remember, they had McCovey.
They've always had more stars. Always. Their entire time in San Francisco, they've never had fewer stars than what they have right now.
Right, but they didn't draw at all in Candlestick. They were $1 million was a great year when they got to $1 million. It was like, hey, they celebrated. We got $1 million. I was at a game once, and the announced attendance was 700 and something. 700. I mean, that's because it was a horrible location, the ballpark, it was cold, it was windy, everything. But now you got the great ballpark and you have all of that. It's all comes down to now, I believe, the biggest factor is winning. If they're consistently winning and they, get into the playoffs on a regular basis, and you should. San Francisco being the 5th highest team in revenue and the 4th or 5th largest market should be in a playoffs when 6 teams make it. Remember, they're 5th in Major League Baseball. They're probably 3rd in the National League and 3rd behind the Dodgers and Mets. That's it. So they're 3rd in the National League. You have 6 teams. They should be, I want to say almost easily, but they should never be in a situation where they're not competing for a wild card going forward. You got 15 teams.
Well, I mean, sports is cyclical. There's injuries, there's this and that. I mean, there's up years, there's down years. Never. That's probably a little bit overstating, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying wild card, Larry. Now it's 16.
Well, with as much wealth as they have, they should always be.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
they should be competing.
The bottom line on this. Bottom line is they've got to spend money. They got to be stopping so cheap and spend money.
Right.
It takes money to make money, and you're not just going to say, "Hey, we're here," and everybody's just going to unload all this cash on you. You're going to have to compete in the marketplace, and that means competing against the Warriors and the Niners, and you have to draw people into downtown San Francisco, and it's not a very easy place to draw people into because the people in the burbs don't want to deal with all that. They don't want to deal with the feces and the needles and the stepping over homeless people, and it's just become this gigantic outhouse, and they just don't want to deal with it. And it's like, you can sit there and the mayor can sit there and bury her head in the sand. But guess what? She's been a disastrous mayor for the business community in San Francisco. The pandemic hasn't helped, but her stance on, welcoming everybody to San Francisco, and this soft movement on crime, and people are breaking into cars routinely. And in the height of the pandemic, they're just walking in and out of any Walgreens they want with anything they want. All these stores closing down. It's like somebody forgot to remind her, "Oh, excuse me, Miss Mayor, this is not Pittsburgh. You don't produce steel." The number one industry for this city is tourism. So if you're not going to make decisions that align with tourism, then you probably ought to just resign and go do something else, because that's the number one industry of San Francisco. And it was the number one industry when you took the gig, and it will be the number one industry after you're long gone. And so you might want to adapt. Just saying. Sports House said, "Are you on the radio tomorrow?" Not on the radio tomorrow. I'll be on the radio shortly, but not tomorrow. We will be doing the Krueg show, though, tomorrow night after Giants D-backs, and we'll be doing a lot of Niner live streams throughout the week, looking ahead to the Viking game and using some of the camp video that we shot the last couple of days. But yeah, I would say that. Now, Robert Rothberg says a true fan supports the team regardless of the roster. Well,
he's calling out people for their fan cards. He's calling out. I don't
know, but you got to remember this, Robert. There's hardcore fans that are going to go no matter what, but it's the casual fan that, you don't get to 3 million in attendance off hardcore fans. You get close to 3 million in attendance when you get the casual fan. So I think that's a big part of it. The casual fan can easily fund. The Giants are 12th in attendance, as you can see here.
That's actually not that. Like, if you look, like, I mean,
it's also not accurate. It's also not accurate because that's just tickets bought. Danny bought a ticket tonight too. He wasn't there. There wasn't 31,000 there.
And
there's all kinds of no-shows.
Nobody bought my seat tonight either.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of people who have bought the tickets who will, in the future, will not buy the tickets because they ate too many tickets in 2022. And that's a reality.
This is as close of a facsimile as we're going to find to like accurate comparisons. I'm sure that happens in other markets as well. I mean, Boston, but look at Boston. The Celtics made it to the championship, and now Boston is having a down year after them and the Giants.
They only have like 33,000. Their place only holds like 34,000, doesn't it? Fenway?
I don't know. Either way, still the same amount of people though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're filling it the majority of the time because Giants hold like 41,000 their stadium. I think. How many does
Robert Rothberg? I'm still convinced the Giants have an abundance of talent.
They have 38. They hold 38,000.
So they're doing pretty good if you consider they got 33,000.
But still, it's like number of people to go to San Francisco. I mean. It's about. I mean, look, Philly. I don't care if Philly has like a small stadium. Philly is below us. Philly is a great sports town, and they have an entertaining team with stars. So I think sometimes it's just baseball is just a little boring.
Philly will get excited if they get to the playoffs. They've watched their team choke year after year for the last several years. But I'll say this: Larry had it right. You got to spend money. In business. The companies, why do you think you see companies advertise millions and millions of dollars on TV? Because they're doing it because it's making them money. It's bringing people to their product. For me, I have to advertise my business to get clients. If I don't, and why do I advertise in a lot of places. I'm here on the Krueg channel, but I've advertised for years in different places. Because it brings clients, it makes me money. So this is what the Giants. I don't understand their ownership thinking that cutting spending and not going after certain ball players because it's too expensive. Well, you're going to start getting more people coming to the ballpark. That's more parking. That's more concessions. That's more, memorabilia, souvenirs. It all adds up. Why do we think the Giants have 15 different uniforms? And why do they come out with City Connects? Because it sells more jerseys. But the Giants, for some reason, I don't understand
they're not compelling. It's not a compelling. I mean, I look at it this way. Stars are compelling. And hope is compelling. If like you had 3 or 4 young players that you really liked, I don't care if the Giants were in 4th place. They're in 3rd place now. I don't care if they're in 4th place. If they had 3 or 4 everyday guys that you knew if you were going to pay your X amount of dollars, you were going to come see, you might be invested in them. The fans don't have anybody to invest in. There's not
absolutely
who you going to invest. Forget your money for a second and just think about your fan loyalty. Who are you going to invest in? Joey Bart. That's it. Camilo Doval. That's it.
Logan Webb. That's it.
It takes more than that. It takes more than one starting pitcher, one reliever, and one catcher not hitting 250 to pack people in the house.
I think COVID also is a part of it, and because San Francisco is like one of the more like locked down places, we had like the experience of being inside for so much longer. So I feel like it's kind of hard. It's like, unless they're like the most captivating product in the world, like I'd rather stay home and watch it on TV and listen to Krueg McKay.
Brian says you sound like a fascist, Larry. What? Go away. Seriously. You have my invitation to go right away. Val Ramos, the manager has to have the team believing. I don't even know what that's about. I mean, as far as believing. Hey Spider 8 says Mayor Larry has my vote. No analytics in City Hall, only superstars. I'm just saying you have to speak the language of the fans. I mean, the fans, it's like, don't tell us what, it's almost like Farhan's like that guy who tells you what you need. Oh, this is what you need. And you don't like it. And it's like, well, you can tell your 5-year-old what he needs. And guess what? He's got nowhere to go. He's locked in the house. He's got to do what you say. But there's a lot of people out there that, I don't know, kind of like stars. There's a lot of people out there that are kind of, I don't know, and are entertained by stars.
Another thing, Larry, is your homegrown products. When you have 4 or 5 kids that you've watched like grow up,
I feel like
when you have 4 or 5 kids in your high school area or whatever, and they're coming home to an event or something, you want to go see them, and versus 5 guys you've never heard of, Pablo, Squirrel. I mean, not Squirrel, the mouse guy, Stewie, Fairchild.
I mean, those are minor league players, and these are major league prices. I mean, that's not complicated, right? So, you can't charge. I can't charge filet mignon prices for flank.
Right, but if you got 5 or 6 guys that when the Giants had Lincecum, Kane, Pablo, Buster, Mad Bum, Crawford, Bell, all these guys were homegrown and they're coming up, and you followed them at single A, double A, triple A, and you're waiting for him to come up. We've been waiting for Bart for years. Now he's here. Now he's starting to hit, and everybody's excited for him. I think more people are excited for Bart than they would be if it was Kurt Casale doing the exact same thing,
absolutely.
because it's your guy that you drafted, and then you want to see guys.
And he's got huge power,
right? And you want to see Ramos, hopefully make it. Then you got Luciano and Bishop and Harrison. If these guys all start to come up and produce, then all of a sudden there's some excitement around the yard, because it's like, hey, we're seeing young guys that are coming up. And that's what we saw in the 10s, 12s, 14s, because all those guys came up that were drafted in the late, 07, 08, 09. And they came up, and then they started producing, and everybody got excited. That's what the Giants need, not these guys that come off the
just passing through.
Yeah, that it's like, I don't want to go pay for that. You think I'm going to pay $12,000? And they've already asked me. I got an email today for committing early for next month, and I'll get a discount on next year. They want me to commit now when I have no idea what they're committing to on the field for next year. There's no way I'm paying now. If they said, you guys will hold your tickets until instead of giving them up until free agency period is over.
How about half price parking the rest of the year to reflect the disappointing year for the season ticket holder?
They ought to just give us parking. Those that don't even have it to show up. Maybe people will show up if they change the parking prices. Change the concession prices. Leave the tickets the same, but make it cheaper to buy a beer or a hot dog, and people.
Maybe they ought to make the food free.
People will start coming.
I mean, seriously, I could see a year. I mean, you got to remember these deals that they cut with the people who provide the food.
Well,
they're guaranteeing a massive audience to them.
Right.
You could probably, when you look at the price of the tickets and the parking and the whole expenditure, you could probably come up with some form of a price that includes food. Maybe that would do it. Maybe if you gave people free food, they would do it.
If they did that on Tuesday, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night games, especially
half price night. Where's half price night?
Yeah, they used
to
have
that. Do you remember that promotion? It was called half price night.
Yeah, was it Monday nights or something? Or
somebody ought to ask Larry Bear about that. Hey, Larry, do you remember that great promotion? It was called half price night. Now you guys should have every weeknight is quarter crowd night. You get a quarter of the crowd that you get on the weekends.
I think they really should. If they don't want to lose any money, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, cut the food down to what their cost is. You could probably get away with $1 hot dogs and $2 beers. Seriously. You could actually have a lot of people show up just because they'll be able to eat dinner that night for what they would, cheaper than what they would pay. And if you get the tickets reasonable, people come in. I mean, do something, don't screw the season ticket holders by, reducing the price of the ticket so much. Reduce concessions and parking.
Brian Lucina has now come back with just kidding. So that was a pretty funny joke. That little fascist comment.
Hey, did you get that? Did you get the text I sent you? I don't know if we can play it, but Darren Ruff pitched tonight. I sent it to you.
2 shutout. No. He didn't just pitch.
Yeah,
he was Tyler Rogers plus.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the solution. They should have gotten rid of Rogers and put Ruff in the pen.
Yeah, exactly. They would have had an extra bat plus a,
How deflating would that be if you were a reliever? If they took just some random outfielder and he became a bullpen guy and was doing better than you were.
Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, Tyler Rogers, we're sending you down. Why? Because our left fielder in spot mop-up duty is better than you. This one is interesting. Hey, Spida 8 says the Giants are boring, and that's a cardinal sin in sports entertainment. And it sounds extra like we're piling on them. But you know what? Here's the bottom line on things. It's 2022. And maybe you can't be honest about Giants baseball on their flagship station, but you can be honest about Giants baseball or all sports on the Krueg Show channel. And that's the truth. The Giants are boring. The Giants are a boring team. They're not. It's not that Sunday was an exciting game. Watching Tyro walk it off was exciting. They have exciting moments along the way, but they don't have that. They don't have that guy that you just got to see, And as much as I love Buster, he was more like you had to appreciate Buster. But there was far more entertaining players than Buster. I want to see some speed. What I love about Joey Bart is the light tower power. He just has ridiculous power. He almost hit one. He's going to hit one, guys, into the Cove.
That was my prediction.
He's going to hit one in the Cove, no doubt.
He would be the first right-handed batter to hit one in the Cove. I still think he can, yeah. He can, because that one he hit tonight, he didn't even get it. He didn't get it. No, he didn't get it. He's gonna tee off on one and drive it deep into the Cove. Yeah, and I think it'll be not down the line. I think it'll be like toward right center, not right center, but
AT says the Giants been boring since Barry Bonds. Even their World Series runs were boring teams carried by pitching. I don't know if they were boring teams, but they didn't have that big time slugger. I don't know.
Bonds Bonds really did.
The Giants are the Spurs of baseball. Giancarlo Miranda. The Spurs were effective. They weren't necessarily exciting, and that's probably because of Tim Duncan and just kind of the way he played. What do they call? They called him like the big fundamental.
Speaking of the Spurs, I know he's with the Clippers, but have you guys seen Kawhi lately?
No.
He's thick.
I remember him though. I remember him with Toronto.
He's huge.
What do you mean huge?
He's built. He's stout.
He's Mike Bibby now.
He's not the skinny guy. He looks like. Look him up, right? Put a picture of him. I just saw him last week walking in the locker room, and he looks like he's been working out for several months.
Great for a guy.
MF says Vogie for pitching coach. What do you think of this one? Val Ramos says I blame Farhan. And I got that on Twitter a couple times too. That man, it took Farhan 4 years to make this the most boring product in the big leagues. What is Farhan to blame for? I mean, it seems like he's the architect, so it's easy to blame him for sure for almost everything.
Ownership and Farhan. I think ownership led by the Johnsons, since Larry Baer is no longer kind of like the baseball guy, decisions and making decisions as the Johnson family, that this Greg Johnson, I think
you talking about Little Johnson or Big Johnson?
Little Johnson, not the old guy, but
not that old crusty Johnson.
But I think
which get your Johnson straight.
How wrinkly is this Johnson?
Yeah. Are you talking about Little Johnson? Or are you talking about Big Johnson?
Yeah. Whose Johnson are we talking about? Okay. All right.
I mean, and maybe that should be we should have a contest after the game. You know your Johnson.
Know your Johnson.
Okay.
That would take off. I could see that. I could really see that taking off.
So I think he's directed far.
There's not enough room in the box when you're swinging the Big Johnson.
I believe they are
poker in the front, liquor in the rear.
Yeah, I believe they are
Big Johnson Casino. Do you guys remember the Big Johnson T-shirts?
No, don't.
No,
I don't.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know you gave me kind of a vacant look.
I know. I don't know.
Hey,
I
Johnson.
mean, is this related to Johnson and Johnson?
There are these Big Johnson T-shirts.
Oh,
You gotta just Google it. I'd say Google it, as the kids say.
Oh, I don't know if I want to. Big Johnson.
Yeah, Big Johnson T-shirts.
Yeah.
We need a Big Krueg Show T-shirt.
What do you? You know what? I'm maybe it's just me, but I'm so burnt out on ripping on Farhan that I no longer I don't.
I know. It's tired. I know it's tired.
But no, I don't get it. I don't even think you're wrong. I think that I just literally I'm so burnt out of it in my mind that I now am my fiery embers are gone for Farhan.
Right.
Part of it is
totally. I hear you. I mean, it's exhausting because it's a long year.
But, it is. It totally
and I
is.
like the energy they've got going right now. I hope they make a run for the wild card. Heck, I hope they make the wild card. It would be really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's what we talked about last night, Larry, when you were after you got out of the car or whatever, moved on. I said, I hope, I put a fork in the Giants the other day. I said, I want to be proven wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. And
Danny, for those who didn't see it, what night was that? Danny literally took a fork to one of his T-shirts.
Yeah, I think it was Thursday afternoon after the Padres beat the Giants.
That was not the same night that Danny showed us his
Wednesday
speed.
afternoon.
Showed us his speed running across.
Yeah, that was Friday night. Friday night sprints. Yeah,
Danny up in Prescott showing the athleticism.
Yeah. So no, but I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I think all of us want to be wrong about the Giants and see them in the playoffs. It would be fun.
I want to see some excited Johnsons.
You want to see some life. You want some real action. We want to see guys. We want to see Giants rise up, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you rise up?
So
hey, one other. We don't have to pound this forever because it's a little bit of a tired topic and it's more of a business topic than anything else. But I do all because there's so many real Giants fans in our chat, so many people that are legit. I mean, almost everybody I know who's in this chat is they're real Giants fans, and they're and the losses hurt and the down years are frustrating, and we all want the same thing, right? We all want the team to be exciting and win another World Series and go to the playoffs. Let me ask you this though, because the 2012 team was honored this weekend, and I don't know if you guys caught Saturday night's broadcast, but Saturday night's broadcast with Krueg and Kipe was awesome. Was freaking awesome, man. They had Boch, they had Vogie,
Zito.
Zito was freaking awesome, but Vogie was great. Boch is great, and to me, that 2012 team was just, for me personally, I just loved it. Now, I had been gone from KMBR from 2005 to 2011, and so I missed the 2010 World Series parade and everything that went with it, and I was back on KMBR in 2011. So the 2012 year was so big for me, and getting a chance to ride in that parade was probably one of the highlights of my sports life. Just being a native San Franciscan and being in the Giants parade on a float going down Market Street. It was just, I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe that I was, bestowed that incredible good fortune. And it's still one of the highlights of my life. But I figured I would throw it out to you guys. Favorite, not necessarily the best, because we can, the best sometimes is a little easier to define. Favorite is more individual. If I say to you, give me your favorite Giant, Warrior, and Niner team,
favorite Giant team, favorite Warrior team, favorite Niner team.
Oh, okay.
All time.
I'm going to go with the.
Do you have it off the top, or do you need to think it over?
I think I can go. I'm pretty off the top of the head guy. 93 Giants.
93 Giants. Okay, beautiful year.
2017 Warriors.
Is that KD?
Yeah, that was just so fun to watch. They
decimated teams.
Yeah, they were just the best. Obviously, so it was, and Niners. I'm going to go with the, it's between the 89 and 94. I loved having Dion on the
I'm going to
team.
go 93 Giants.
I'm going to go 94 Niners just because of Dion.
That was an incredible year. Incredible year. I'll go 93 Giants, 81 Niners.
Mm.
And I'll say it. I think I'm going to go. It was hard because I really enjoyed this year's Warriors team.
Yes.
But
we need more time to let that marinate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 93 Warriors that had Nelly and Weber and Avery and Billy Owens and Spreewell and won 55 games and got beat by Barkley and the Suns in the playoffs, because the Warriors were so bad for so long, and that year was so fun, and they were up tempo. They got Avery Johnson right after Timmy went down with the injury, and they had Avery and just Weber as a rookie, and it was instantly this incredible, awesome, fun team to watch with. And, it's like we didn't know that Weber and Nelly were going to divorce, and it was going to be this big, ugly, fight. And the whole franchise was going to be dragged back through the mud. So there was this was kind of the beginning of wow, here we go, So I'll go 93 Warriors, 93 Giants, and 81 Niners. 81 was just such a magical year.
Oh, yeah. I almost might want to change to 81 because I was 20 at the time, and it was the first, championship. I was in college, and I was down in the dorms, and I was with a bunch of Ram fans, and they were giving me a hard time against Dallas, the catch, and I was just jumping around, flying around the dorm with 12 guys, and I'm just throwing it in their faces. And they're just and then I was in San Diego, and I went out between the games. It was the Chargers and the Bengals that morning, and then the Niners were the afternoon game. There was a little bit
that was Fouts and minus 37 below or whatever.
And I'm down in driving through San Diego before the Niner game, and I'm sticking. I'm just
Chargers were the better team. It was just terrible weather.
But I was just. I don't know why I was doing it, but I was 20 and I was yelling out the window, Chargers suck, and after that, so I was having a good time. But today I'd pull for the Chargers if they were in San Diego. I don't pull for any teams in LA.
Justin Kerwin says, Larry, how about we get Willard on here after a Giants game? I'll ask him. He's been on before. We'll get him on. Mark's a good Giants fan. He's also got kids and that kind of thing, so it's tough late at night for some people, especially since he's got the morning show, but or at least the mid morning show, the 9 a.m. show. But we'll get Mark on here. It'll be fun to talk ball with Mark.
Okay, I'm going.
What are you going with, Rye?
I've got some I'm going 2010 Giants because that just meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
That
first time around,
It was the first time around, and I just fractured my back right as I was about going into high school, and it was just such a bummer, and I had to rehab.
Doing what?
Summer.
Can we ask? Doing what?
I had the swine
down?
flu. No, I had swine flu, and it brought me down to
I had this girlfriend, man, and she was wild.
I was 13, and I got the swine flu. I got down. I was 6'2", 130 pounds, and I was in horrible shape, just sick wise, and anything could have broken some bones in my body. And my AAU coach, I was still playing on 3 basketball teams, and my AAU coach was like, look, I know you're sick, but we only have 4 guys for Vegas, and it's the Nike Vegas tournament. Is there any way you can gut it out? And so I went, and there was a play where I caught an outlet at half court and turned and threw it, and I just freaking fractured like a part of my lower spine, and so that I had to be in a freaking brace all summer. I was all depressed, and the Giants just really it just meant a lot to me.
Oh,
and then
what a comeback too!
The next one would be 2016 Warriors. That is I think ultimately it'll end up being 2021.
73.
Is that the first team, Rise?
That was the second team, which is controversial, but that was the most fun I've ever had during an NBA season, even though it ended in the most heartbreaking fashion of any sports year. And then for the Niners, I'd say 2012 probably over 2019, just because it was like, oh my God, like Kaepernick took over halfway through, like.
That was an incredible year.
Kaepernick goes into Lambeau and runs
years, man. I love
Kaepernick
it.
goes into Lambeau and runs for 180 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And it was like, oh my God, we have our coach of the future. We have this badass defense. We have our quarterback of the future. Like, this is unreal. And then, of course,
talk about the team that should have won the Super Bowl.
Oh
my God. Run Kaepernick, run Gore. Instead, they call a timeout and throw fades to Crabtree and watch the Ravens celebrate.
Dang.
That's
and they were. Do you remember the Ravens song too? That they played it at practice on Sunday. Did you hear that? What's dun 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 dun. God, my God!
Was that the one USC does?
No, it was like Seventh Army or Seventh something. What was it? What's the name of that band, Bri? They were playing it at practice on Sunday. But I forget. A lot of people play it, but my God.
I look at the 75 Warriors. I was like 14 and they won the championship unexpectedly. They were 48-34 that year. And then they overwhelming underdogs to the Baltimore Bullets. I don't know if they were Baltimore or Washington. I can't remember at the time.
Washington. It was Washington. By the way, MF says, was Gary with you on the float? MF, what do you think? Hell to the no. Gary would never be on a float.
So, 75 Warriors. But then I'm kind of like that 15 Warriors team that, they won, 67 games, and they were just like, nobody expected it.
The Run TMC Warriors were super fun, too. Late 80s Warriors. With Timmy and Mitch and Chris and Tommy and Gat and Victor Alexander.
The 84 Niner team went 15-1, and then they played the Dolphins, who were 14-2. And I remember all the national pundits.
Shula versus Walsh.
Yeah, but they were all picking Marino. Because they had Marino, and then they had the who was the 2 wide receivers that the
Duper
Dolphins
and Clayton?
Yeah, Duper and Clayton. They were saying, it's going to be a rout,
Vicky says 81 Niners, 21 Warriors, 2012 Giants.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Those are
that Niners.
I'll say this: I was 11 in 1981, and the Niners had been seriously, we'd go to church. You'd come home, the answer machine would have 5 people on it offering you tickets.
Ryan's
all throughout the 70s.
What's an answering machine?
Yeah, exactly. There used to be this machine that would record a message. But then, seriously, by 81, it was never again did anybody ever offer us tickets. It was like people would, it's like, I watch so much bad football. The hell, I'm ever giving you these tickets now. But 81 was amazing because you had Ronnie and Carlton Williamson and Eric Wright and Dwight Hicks in the secondary. All 3 of the 4 were rookies.
Rookies. Unbelievable.
And they had Joe and Dwight and Freddie and Randy Cross and Walsh and that team. It was uncanny how many times in the secondary balls got tipped into the air, and every single time a 49er came down with it. And when the Niners beat Dallas in week 5 or week 6,
they crushed them
45-14.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. Because you got to remember, Dallas at that time, Dallas had gone to Super Bowl, I think 10, Super Bowl 11, or Super Bowl 10, 12, and 13. They beat Denver in 12. They lost to Pittsburgh in 13. This is Super Bowl 16 this particular year in 81. So it was still, it was Danny White instead of Roger Staubach, but it was still Tony Dorsett, Robert Newhouse, Harvey Martin, Randy White, Too Tall Jones, Charlie Waters, Cliff Harris. I mean, the Cowboys were big time.
Yeah.
And the Niners beat them 45-14 in the regular season. And it was like, you know what? They snuck up. The Cowboys took the Niners lightly. So the rematch was going to be like huge payback. And, we've been playing that cut. Vin Scully was on the call in that game.
Yeah.
The Niners got the win by a point.
And that was the end of Dallas for like 10 years.
That was it.
Almost.
It was the passing of the dynasty. Dallas went down the toilet at that point.
Yeah.
The Niners became a dynasty, and it was like the changing of the guard in the NFL. It was a very dramatic moment.
Right. And Dallas would have stayed down longer if Minnesota hadn't made that crazy trade, giving them all those draft picks that Dallas picked up. That was Jimmy Johnson heist there.
Eddie Flores is the 03 Giants. That was Felipe. That team won 100 games. The 14-15 Warriors, the 2011 Niners, which Rye just talked about. He said, sadly, not old enough to have seen a Super Bowl victory 1 year before I was born. Of course, the 15-16 Sharks. Now, is that the Sharks team that lost to the Penguins?
In the finals, yeah.
I thought it was later than that. I thought it was like 18.
No, that was 2016.
Was it 16? Okay, yeah.
Okay. You know what? Those Niners teams, it's so frustrating because I thought all 3 years they were the best team. Or like those 3 great years, 11, 12, and 13. I thought they were the best team every year. And the freaking Kyle Williams game, like that was BS.
Oh.
They pulled that out of their ass. And then we just came out asleep versus the Ravens. And then after halftime, we were by far the better team, like we should have been. And then when we lost to the freaking Seahawks in that NFC Championship in 2011.
When they lost Bowman that night.
Yeah.
They never lost.
That was like losing Klay Thompson in the Toronto series. Yeah. They lost Bowman in the title game.
I mean, they literally never. Not only did they made the NFC Championship and a Super Bowl in both of those, and then the other team in their division, the other team that was going on was it was the Seahawks, who were a juggernaut, so that screwed them. That was unlucky. And then also, all 3 of those years, they never got blown out in a playoff game. All 3 of them, they probably should have won. And that's how close they were. It's just
here's the follow-up question. If you're a Bay Area sports fan, there's people, we celebrate the victories. Vicky Pellich, by the way, says 84 Niners, 2014 Giants, 2022 Warriors. So she's with me. She kind of likes this year's Warriors team.
Yeah, I love this year's Warriors team.
What is your biggest, if I say to you, the game that gnaws at you, the loss that bothers you the most?
Easy.
Wait. Don't say it yet. The loss that bothers you the most, regardless of sport. Giants, Niners, Warriors. If we're all, I would say there are people here that are Raider fans. There's people here that are A's fans. There's people here that, maybe are not Warriors fans. I don't know. But for the most part, I get the sense that most of the audience is kind of like me. I grew up in the city. I'm a Niner fan, Giant fan, Warrior fan. I don't change. Those are my teams. I guess I could say Sharks too. I go a couple times a year and I watch it, but I'm not that passionate. I'm a West Coast hockey fan. But if I say to you, your biggest source of either regret or, discontent, what is the loss in your sports life as a fan that gnaws at you the most? If I say crushing loss that bothers you to this day, you say what?
16 Warriors for me.
That would be 16 Warriors against Toronto?
Or no, against the Cavs when they.
The Draymond
Game 7 with the 3 by Kyrie.
LeBron's fake title awarded by the officials.
Let me ask you that, because I was gonna bring that up.
That's bad. That's a good one, Ryan. That's a good one.
Before I get to my answer, I was going to ask you that because it's on that. What would you rather have, Rye? Would you rather have that Game 7 loss where LeBron blocked
Iguodala's layup for the Warriors to go ahead, or them winning the title and not having KD for the next two. Because I don't think if KD comes if they won the title that year. So what would you rather have?
I mean, okay, because of this year, I'll take what happened. I'll just take it. I'll take what happened because of what happened this year. Yeah. You asked me before this year, I wouldn't even think twice. 2016, no, and then let's not have KD.
Yeah, I kind of like.
By the way, it's Seven Nation Army.
Okay.
Do you know that song, right?
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Ah! I was hearing that in the airport in New Orleans the next morning.
I know. Sometimes I can hear that in my
store. That's I don't know, that Trojan band when they do that.
Well, no, they play the Trojan fight song. It's kind of like FSU plays the, that's
my loss. But
there's a lot of people that are just super rubbed wrong by that. By the way, it's like, oh my God, that's so offensive. All right.
Kind of like Ryan's.
Let's not go crazy.
This year kind of healed a lot of that pain from 16. It still gnaws at me, especially when
Which one? The Cubs game?
No, not it'd be the Giants against the Angels game 6 when they were up 5-0.
2002.
2002.
You said 2016.
No, I was saying kind of like Ryan's 2016 pick.
02 game 6.
It kind of faded with this year's Warriors. The Giants winning in 10, 12, and 14, winning 3 eased a little bit of what happened in 02, but
I remember that 02 night, Danny. My sister invites me to a party that her friends are having, and Giants are up 5-0, and I'm like, I should just go to the party. And then I'm like, you know what? No, if I go to that party and they gag this away, I'll be miserable at the party. I'll be showing people the ugliest side of my personality. I go, you know what, sis? Maybe I'll stop by after. Needless to say, I never made it to that party.
That
was tough, man. 02 was tough.
If you had went to the party, we may have won. Butterfly effect.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe I should have gone to the party. J Stamps 101 says Bruce Miller in the Super Bowl against the Ravens being held on the second half kick return. I'll never let that go. J Stamps.
That was awful.
He wasn't held by one guy. He was sandwiched between two guys. And Jacoby Jones ran right through Bruce Miller's lane. It was Miller's tackle to make. They held him on the front side and the back side, and that's how Jones got through, and it went uncalled.
I remember that play, and I
criminal it was so blatant, right in the middle of the field. So blatant. I said to
myself,
Allen Hurts.
Why don't teams do that more intentionally? Because I believe that was a set play to have them. If they get caught, they get caught, but if not, it's a touchdown.
Right. Just you hit the hole. We're going to hold right here.
Yeah. I believe Harbaugh actually called that play for Baltimore at halftime. And I'm always wondered why teams don't do that more. You're only set back,
I think they changed it. They changed the rules on it.
On what?
On the holding thingy. Like, I don't think they let you just run the clock out anymore.
Well, no, that was the opening kickoff of the second half, and they opened the second half with a touchdown. But had they been caught, it would have put them back to maybe the 10-yard line. But if they don't get caught, it's a TD, so it's worth it. It's a great I think it's a great strategy, and I don't know why it's not often more deployed, in big games.
So what are you guys going with, Danny? You're going 0-2 World Series Game 6.
Yeah, that's the one that just pops out in my head because it was, I waited 40 I was what? That was 02, so I was 40. I was over 30 years suffering as a Giants fan,
Is there one that stands out to you? The game that you just are like, God, man, I just can't get over that.
I mean, honestly, now that we've gotten more time away from it, 2019 as well, just like, okay, first of all,
Toronto?
Kittle, I was going to say 2019 Niners.
Oh,
okay, Kittle They should have never called that OPI on Kittle at the end of the half. That should have
Against the
been
Chiefs in the bowl.
Yeah, against the Chiefs. Okay, also, of course, everyone points to the Emmanuel Sanders miss. Okay, whatever. It was pretty tough freaking play. But Mahomes and freaking Nick Bosa getting held like a mother. Getting his absolute ass held. And I swear to God, if he had 2 more years in the league, they call it. But he was a rook. He was a star rookie, but he was a rook. And then Mahomes pulls that ridiculous, stupid, airmailed ball or whatever. He just launched it in the air, and then Tyreek Hill, of course, he's going to get open. He's so freaking fast. But that holding was horseshit.
Oh, it was horrible.
And it's just it's effed up that we can point to, in my lifetime of Niners teams that were good, every single time. Okay, when they lost to the Seahawks, then the Seahawks on the Sherman play, that was brutal. Then the Seahawks go on to win the Super Bowl. Okay, next year, Niners make it to the Super Bowl. They have a drive to win the game. Of course, they lose to the Ravens, who win the Super Bowl. The next year, bullshit, Kyle Williams, the 2 muffs, and then the Giants go on to win the Super Bowl. So
was it 2 or 3?
It might have been 3 in OT, and we didn't even have a shot in OT. And then 2019.
I think it might have been 3 fumbles.
I think it was.
Which one?
And
12?
Kyle Williams.
Yeah, I know it was 2. It might have been 3, yeah.
And then 2019, just all that BS I just said, we lose to the Chiefs who win the Super Bowl. And then last year, we lose to the goddamn Rams. If Jimmy Ward just makes that. I love Jimmy Ward.
Not Ward. You mean?
Jaquiski Tart.
If Tart just makes that catch, it's over. We're playing Joe Burrow in the Bengals in the Super Bowl. We're winning that. So all 5 of those.
That would have been the 3rd Super Bowl between the Niners and Bengals.
I'm going to say, you know what? There's 2 that really get me. The 2 that really get me, game 162 and 93.
Oh, gosh, Solomon Torres,
Deshays, Sanderson. They had nothing. They ran out of starting pitching. They lost. They got destroyed. I think it was 11-1. Piazza hit one out. I mean, when I say out, I think he hit it out of the park.
It was over early, too.
It was over early, and the Giants didn't have any pitching. And that Giant team would have beat Philly. Now, they probably don't beat Toronto in the World Series, but they owned Philly, and they would have beat Philly. So that one hurts. And it was Dodgers, Giants, and that was just such a wonderful year. And to have it end that way was just, oh my God, that was painful. But that was number 1 in my world until 1st and goal on the 5 in New Orleans against the Ravens. I think of Frank Gore, and I think of Kaepernick. And I think of just, the rule of thumb that you never, ever, ever call a timeout late in the game when you have an old defense on its heels. And that's what Harbaugh did, because it couldn't get plays called in on time. It was a consistent problem the whole year. But, man, that one and the Niners' perfect record in Super Bowls ended right there. They were 4-0. They could have been 5-0. They should have been 5-0, and they lost to the Ravens. That, I would say, the Ravens Super Bowl loss.
You're going to see the hold here.
I'm gonna break it down. I forgot it was 3rd and 15.
Yes.
The game should have been freaking over. Okay, first of all, Buckner is the one who eventually gets to him, so you can see where Buckner is. But Bosa
Bosa's being over there on the right.
Already being held. So, but Buckner is the one who eventually gets to him, right? And he gets to him like a split second late. So Bosa easily would have been home. He's getting held he's
right there. Look at his hand goes up.
Oh my God!
Look at that. Look at
all that time.
Look at the right arm.
Mahomes still barely gets it off. He still barely gets it off. Bosa 100% gets there. And it's just
but where was the coverage?
I mean, you can't give Tyreek Hill that long, It's God.
I think Mahomes is going to miss the hell out of Tyreek Hill this year.
Oh my God, yeah. That's another underrated thing, is that Mahomes was bad in that Super Bowl. Until that play and then the ensuing touchdown, his stat line was horrible.
Coccimilgio says, I'm still haunted by the Roger Craig fumble. January of 90. They were going for the three-peat. That was the year for the three-peat. He says, I was young. I thought we were entitled to win the Super Bowl every year. No three-peat. The only question about that one is that, and I love Steve Young, and I asked Steve Young this question directly a couple years ago. I said, Steve, if Roger doesn't fumble in the 90 NFC Championship game, and you, in your very first start, basically had to start in the Super Bowl against the Bills, would the 49ers have gotten it done? And, he's not the boastful type, and he believed that he would, but I don't know that he would. I think there was a lot of development that still was to come there. I'm not convinced that the Niners would have beaten Buffalo in that Super Bowl with Steve, who hadn't played a lot, right? It was Joe's team at that point. So that's that one. That was tough too, because man, it was right there. I had bought a T-shirt that said three-peat the week before. I had a gray T-shirt in red writing. It said the Niners will three-peat.
At least you didn't get a tattoo like somebody. Who's the guy that got some guy got a tattoo.
There's always people getting tattoos
with a team that was up like 2-0, 3-0, and then they choked and is like had
Sean Proctor says, "What's up, Krueg show? What's going on, Sean?"
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
I vividly remember that Jay Stamps, that Ravens D was gas. Cap
was
running free to the left in the
seriously.
timeout.
Cap, they called a timeout. They had old man Ed Reed, old man Ray Lewis. I was in the stadium on the binoculars. Every single Raven was grabbing their shorts. They were so gassed, and they called a fucking timeout. Inexcusable. Let them get their breath. They rallied for one last stop, and they got it. And then the play calling. You're going to throw a fade. Colin Kaepernick, who has absolutely no ability to put any kind of loft on any pass, and you're going to throw multiple fades. I mean, that Jim Harbaugh, man. I mean, seriously, what the hell? What the hell?
Seriously, what the hell? And also, the Sherman Crabtree thing, like, he held the shit out of Crabtree. And if that game was played in 2022, those would have all been called.
Yeah, it's probably true, too. Jim Olay says the guy that got the Celtics 2022 champions tat this year.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Who does that?
Oh, God. Who
gets a tat ahead of time?
It's just crazy.
I mean, Danny didn't get the completes tat before he, had bought the completes. He tasted it a few times and then said, give me the completes tat.
You should just tattoo the top of your head, Dan. Completes.
Completes.
Oh man. Yeah, there's some definite
Sean Proctor says terrible play call. Sherman was in Crab's head.
Yeah,
it's so brutal because Harbaugh does get a lot of
that interview too with what was her name?
Aaron Andrews.
Yeah. Aaron Andrews. Crabtree!
You're trying to sorry, Andrews.
Don't come at me, Crabtree.
Go get him. Oh,
God! I hated Richard Sherman in that moment. Hated him.
They're all on Adderall. Pete Carroll's chomping his gum. He's so.
You guys remember Trent Williams? When he was with Washington, just popping Crabtree before the game, or either before or after the game. I think it was before. Maybe it was after. Have you seen it, Rye?
Wait, no. All I'm thinking about is how hilarious it was when Aqib Talib would steal his chain every time. That was a great.
Do you remember it, Larry?
Yes.
You got to see it, Rye. It is. I wonder if you can put it up.
Spencer Stewart says Seahawks corners from the LOB all held. That's right. It was ridiculous. It wasn't just Dick Sherman. It was Brandon Browner as well. They just held on every play.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta find that. That was
rough. That was rough. The Warrior one, I don't know. The Warrior one that pissed me off the most was the LeBron one, because I just felt like, come on, man. Anybody who plays pickup basketball, if you try to disrespect me by, hanging your junk in my face, I've got the right to push you off and say, get the hell out of my face. And what Draymond did to LeBron was a total what I would call a reciprocal response. He did exactly what anybody would do in that situation. Anybody now, you want to blame Draymond for piling up all the calls before that? Yeah, that's on him. But that one right there was just it to me. The NBA is lesser because of that call. That call's not made in football. That call's not made in baseball. No. They don't do that.
And they didn't even call it on the court.
That crap. They don't have that minor league bull crap in those sports. But you see it in the NBA.
Well, they lobbied for it after, too. It wasn't even a flagrant.
They were lobbying for it. They were like, suspend him.
Ha says it best. Right. Draymond got teabagged.
He teabagged the shit out of him. Everyone knows the Ty Lue freaking thing. Ty Lue was the coach. It was
Do we
famous.
have this? Are we going to play the highlight here?
I'm going to play a little bit of the highlight. As long as we keep kind of break it down, film by...
Yeah, okay, so now look at LeBron.
Oh, wait. We even missed it. First LeBron just knocks him down. Watch LeBron. Okay.
That might have been acting. But then he stepped right over him.
Well, it's Draymond.
That wasn't it, was it?
Yeah, it was. That was
Wait a second. Show it in slow-mo.
They will. That was. Okay, so LeBron trips Draymond.
Okay.
He hits the floor. Okay. LeBron could have easily gone to the left or right. Instead, he purposefully steps over Draymond. Draymond's trying to get up.
Now LeBron's got a sack on his right shoulder.
He's got a sack on his right shoulder. Could injure him
Nobody
easily.
likes getting somebody's sack on their right shoulder.
Looks like questionably his foot's on his hand. Okay, and that was
Draymond just pushed him up. And what did he just swiped at him? I mean, this is
in slow motion.
To take a star player off the floor in the finals for that shows you how lame the NBA is compared to the other sports.
It's so stupid.
Derek Jeter's not getting taken out of the World Series.
So
nobody's taking they're not taking somebody out of the Super Bowl.
And what did Draymond do?
But you're taking Draymond Green out of an NBA Finals moment.
He was getting up actually before LeBron actually stepped over him. He was.
The funny thing is that Ty Lue is the coach. Ty Lue is the one who is embarrassed. It's considered the most disrespectful thing in NBA Finals game history was because Allen Iverson stepped over him on the ground. Right. This was in an actual play. Like Draymond wasn't just sitting on the ground like Ty Lue was. Draymond was trying to get back in the play, and LeBron directly steps over him.
I can't even believe that.
Spencer Stewart, the NBA just kisses James' ass. He gets all the calls. Now we're all getting upset about a basketball call from years ago. But you know what? That's what kind of crap that was.
Hype Sage, you know what?
Jim Olay, I carry no man's sack. Mark Twain, thank you.
Hype Sage said, nah. Hype Sage says, nah, don't hit another man in his balls. I agree. But
he didn't.
But also don't drag your balls all over another man's head on national TV in a finals game. You're losing.
Seriously,
you
hang your nuts on my head and I'm punching you.
Especially sweaty ones.
And guess what? If that had been on the street yard, it's a full-on brawl, man. It's a full-on brawl.
Full-on brawl. What's worse? Everybody who's been walked around a fraternity or was in college has been sack-tapped a million times. It's
Matthew
kind
Mears,
of funny.
Draymond's no saint. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about reciprocal response. If his response to that was egregious, I agree. Tee him up. I don't care what it is. But that wasn't egregious.
It wasn't on the call.
And they didn't even tee him up on the court there, did they?
No.
They did it after the game.
After the fact.
They upgraded it.
So they upgraded it to
They took him out of the series after the fact.
For one game because they were trying to make it a series.
And as much as people want to argue Draymond...
And then ultimately, Harrison Barnes choked in the last game. Steph wasn't 100%. And the Warriors couldn't regroup. And blah, blah, blah.
Iguodala's back
and
was hurt.
LeBron's got a fraudulent title.
And LeBron did nothing down in the last 3 minutes of the game. LeBron did nothing but miss one free throw with 30 seconds left.
49ers says LeBron was in Draymond's wedding party. That's Draymond's issue. That's new media right there.
Yeah. New media.
Hey, Ryan, check that out. I sent you I sent you the video of Trent Williams actually popping Sherman, but it's kind of tough because it's all audio, and that's why you probably can't. I don't think you can play it because of the audio.
Dang, he fully smacked him.
Yeah, but Sherman was mouthing off right in his face, and then Sherman,
Matthew Mears says 2020 is the most fraudulent title I've ever seen.
The Dodgers or the Lakers?
What's he talking about? Oh, he's talking about the bubble.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the whole everything in 2020. I was.
I thought LeBron's title against the Mavericks was bogus. I mean, Dwayne Wade 2 times in 2 closing moments got foul calls going to the rim that sent him to the line. The refs awarded the Heat 2 victories down the stretch. I thought their win over the Mavericks that year was bogus too.
Not the Mavericks.
Yeah, it was the Mavericks.
No, they blew it versus the Mavericks.
No, they beat the Mavericks also, I believe. Didn't the Heat beat the Mavericks once? Yeah.
They beat them once.
And they beat them first. Then I think the Mavericks beat them. Or maybe it was the other way around.
Oh, that was before LeBron, though.
No.
Yeah.
That was Dwayne Wade, as the one I'm remembering.
Yeah.
They had all 3 of them.
They had LeBron, didn't they?
No.
They had all 3 and they lost.
LeBron's 4 years was first year he loses to Dallas. Second year he beats the Spurs. Third year he loses to the Spurs. Fourth year he loses. Wait.
Check that.
No,
I'm pretty sure I could have.
They won 2 in a row.
Yeah, they beat Dallas They beat Dallas when Dallas should have won the series.
Yeah, the first one he was in, they lost.
Well, they lost. They lost with Mike Brown when LeBron was young, trying to spread
Cleveland.
the floor.
Yeah, he lost with Cleveland.
That cost Mike Brown his gig, right?
Yeah.
20. Oh no! This is what it was. It was the first year was LeBron, biggest choke job ever versus the Mavericks. The second year was they beat the Baby Thunder. The third year was they should have lost to the Spurs in 6, but Kawhi misses both free throws, crazy Ray Allen shot, and then the next year they get their asses whooped by the Spurs.
Yeah, they won 2 in a row. But they lost.
But Larry's right. They basically Dwayne Wade in 07 when they had Shaq. Basically, he went to the line 15 times a game and averaged 30, and it was ridiculous.
He kept getting calls. It was just bogus. It was absolutely bogus because they wanted Dwayne Wade to win that title more than they wanted Dirk.
Yeah,
because Dwayne Wade's, I don't know if it's because Dirk was an international player, but Dirk got hosed. The Mavericks got hosed in that series.
Yeah.
My memory's eluding me now, but I don't know. You get me going down the NBA route. I really can't. There's something about NBA officiating that just really rubs me wrong. Brian says Donaghy was telling the truth when he said the league office fixes games. It's hilarious because David Stern called Tim Donaghy a rogue, isolated criminal.
Oh my God.
Well, that rogue, isolated criminal, Tim Donaghy. Nobody ever offered up an excuse why he called Scott Foster 277 times. If he's a rogue, isolated criminal, why is he calling Scott Foster 277 times right before game time or whatever it was? I mean, the league covered that up because that was going to be a huge stain, and it was going to hurt the credibility, and it was going to hurt the bottom line. And they just basically Stern just put out his edict. We're not talking about that.
I didn't hear, but Foster was involved too, but you didn't get it.
There was calls. There was calls between Donaghy and Foster that we don't know.
Guys got
there was
promoted
massive numbers of calls between Donaghy and Scott Foster.
So Foster still
and Donaghy. I interviewed Donaghy, and I asked him. I said, David Stern called you a rogue, isolated criminal, and he. I don't remember his exact line, but he basically laughed at that whole notion. So not that he has tons of credibility, but I mean, he was already guilty to me, he had nothing to lose, and the truth could set him free. The league had money to lose, so they have reasons to lie. So it's all these people, and that just went away because the league just said, we don't want anybody to talk about it, and all their yes men just said we won't talk about it.
Wow. By the way, Dwayne Wade in that 6 games finals, which Miami won like all their last like 3 games by like 3 or 4 points, and in the last game they only won by 3. Okay, Dwayne Wade averaged 16.2 free throws per game. And then in the deciding Game 6 game, he took 25 free throws.
Sean Proctor says, look at Scott Foster's record in Chris Paul games.
Oh, it's 0 for a zillion.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like about the NBA officiating is like watch many of these games. They, a timeout late in the game. There's 5 guys, let's say, on a team. 3 head back to the huddle, 2 head towards the official to negotiate. Every timeout.
That's a great comment. It's like saying Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa were rogue isolated PED users.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of
it.
PED, I was looking at Fernando Tatis's minor league stats. He skipped AAA. He didn't have overwhelming numbers in the minors. He was.
Is it possible that the PEDs are his entire? Krueger brought that up today. That you got to look at his entire career now and be skeptical whether Tatis is legit. How about if you're like the Padres? You got big money deal on him long term. Some people suggesting they may try to move him at some point.
He only played 130 games last year and led the NL in home runs. So.
What do you think?
Maybe the White Sox knew what they were trading.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say that. Look at today I saw a 2023 Padres promotion for the season tickets, and they had 4 guys on the cover in Padre uniforms. Who do you think those 4 were?
For this year?
For next year, promoting for next year's season tickets.
I would say Soto. By the way, did you see Jerks and Profar tonight?
Yeah, waving the guy over to third base.
Jerks and Profar, the Padres guys are in a weird spot. Profar, there was a guy who basically doubled. He waves him to third like, you going to run on me? And then the runner beat Rojas, beat the throw to third. And then the inning ends, and Manny Machado and a couple other guys, Musgrove. There were some unhappy people in that Padre dugout. The Padres have some bad vibes going right now.
Right.
Oh, it'll probably happen to the Chargers this year too, even though they're in LA. Okay, all right. My guess is Soto. Soto.
Machado. It's got to be Machado.
Yep. Machado. Yep. Who else is a
hater?
No.
Joe Musgrove?
Melvin?
No, it wasn't Melvin.
It wasn't Profar.
Cronenworth?
I think Cronenworth was on there.
Really? I like Cronenworth, but that would surprise me.
I'm looking it up because
Sean Proctor donates $5. He says, not sure if you've already talked about it previously, but the Padres front office and the players have been throwing Tatis Jr. under the bus big time.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
The guy took, Stanibol or whatever, Nandrolone or whatever it is. What are you going to do? Right. I mean, the truth is the truth. Some of these guys got to stand up for themselves and basically just own it.
Yeah, I like what they were saying.
Ringworm? He's blaming What is ringworm? Does anybody know what ringworm is?
I think it's similar to maybe like the MRSA infection I had. I'm not sure, but I definitely didn't take any.
There it is. Can you see it?
Machado, Sosa, or Machado, Soto,
Musgrove,
Darvish,
and Musgrove, I think.
Wow.
Huh.
No Tatis. What does that say?
Well, I mean, if you heard what they were saying, they were
That's
like, "Look, we're where we are this year. without him. He hasn't played a single game, and guess what? We added. It's not like we're not getting, like we haven't improved. We still added Drury. We added.
Brian
Josh Bell.
Messina says it's fungus. It's a fungus.
Fungus. Yeah, and they added Josh Hader. So like
that's a great word, by the way. Fungus. We don't use enough fungus.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Dan? Next time one of you guys can't make it to the live stream, I'm just going to say, hey, Danny will be with us tomorrow. He's got a bad fungus.
Wait, we should start the Tatis to the Giants rumors.
I'm going to try to. How much money will you give me if I can work fungus into like every show that I do on the game for like the next couple of weeks? I'm battling this fungus. I'm battling this fungus.
If you
it's a great word, man. It's a great word.
Every time, and it's like that'll be our code word. It's kind of like
that's like lets us know that we're communicating with each other. I'll drop fungus.
He can't play in the World Baseball Classic either because it's.
And his dad came out today and was all upset defending him and saying this is ridiculous. It's
it's not ridiculous. He took
doesn't
the
even
drugs.
go into his body. The other thing was neomycin, an antibiotic.
Neapolitan?
Yeah. So he said there was 2 ingredients and it's just topical and it was
it makes the whole bike crash or whatever it was worse too.
49ers says, Danny, the plural of fungus is fungi.
Yeah.
Fungi. And I believe, is it fungi with an I or an AE?
Hey, and you know what they do before what they call it in baseball when you go out and and you kind of right before the game and they throw the ball and you kind of bat it. You know what that's called?
Those are fungos.
Fungo.
Yeah, fungo. Yeah.
Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. What tastes worse, ringworm or Danny's completes?
I'm gonna look up what a ringworm looks like.
What is ringworm besides a fungus?
Ringworm.
Have either of you guys ever had a fungus?
I mean,
athlete's foot is fungus.
Yeah, have you had that fungus?
Yeah.
Show me your feet. Show me your feet.
No, not going that way. I'm fine now.
I'm like Rex Ryan over here. Show me your feet. I want to see this. Damn it, show me your corns.
Yeah, I had a guy. I
got bunions. I got bunions. Anybody want to see my bunions?
I played basketball with a guy that had the worst athlete's foot. It was so bad, his feet were raw. It was like
what do you mean? I mean? What is athlete's foot? I thought it was just like an itch.
No, it gets in between your toes and it tears up your skin and you bleed.
Yeah, it's like why they tell
you can bleed.
Like it's like in college if you have the shared showers, like you have to wear sandals because of the fungi growing.
Brian Lucena, I've had jock itch and athlete's foot.
Same thing. Everyone has a little jock itch.
What if you get a little athlete's jock? Or foot itch? There's nothing worse than an itchy or like a mosquito bite that you just can't stop scratching.
I got scabies and that got on my junk and that was one of the worst things of all time.
Let's talk about uncomfortable skin ailments for 500.
You should create a Jeopardy game, Rye, and then ask Larry and I, and we'll face off each other.
Haha said it's also a fungus.
Oh, ringworm.
Yeah. I mean, they said that
Val Ramos. That's a bullshit excuse for Tatis. Of course it is.
Yeah, John Heyman came out in the New York Post and basically ripped him and said he needs a better publicist to have better lies because there's there's 2 different the words
types.
Are really close. The spelling.
What do we got there?
Ringworm.
Some ringworm.
This is ringworm.
Yep. Oh, that would be bad.
Oh, that thing on top of the head?
Yeah, ringworm of the head. So I guess it's just a ring.
Oh, it looks awful.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's kind of like a tattoo. It's like a bad hicky or something.
Play that back. It
almost, good.
It almost looks like a.
Did you guys ever have a high school girlfriend who just absolutely hickied you to death?
No, I just did it to myself
Danny?
and then walked
Danny?
in like I was the man.
No? Look at Danny. Danny's like, no. I've had lumpia, but no. I go completes, but I can't go hickeys.
That looks like it would be so soothing to scratch.
Oh, jeez, man. Look at that.
God, that's
doesn't
awful.
look that bad. It's not as bad as scabies.
Now I'm not feeling as bad. Hey, what's that thing that they always talk? Shingles. Shingles looks awful.
This is bad. Scabies.
It's like chicken pox. Oh, this guy's got one on his ass.
Yeah, look at that one right there.
Yeah. I had these on all in every area you could ever not want them.
What the hell is this thing in the right corner here?
Look at that.
Oh, what the hell is that?
It's a scaby mite zoomed in.
What is that?
I went
is
to
that a bug?
Yeah, I went to the urgent care and they were like,
it's like a tick or something?
Yeah, they're like, you have thousands of little animals in you. And I was like, why the
fuck would you
phrase it that way? Yeah, it's a mite. They're little mites and they like poop all in you.
They bore into your skin?
And they poop and eat your dead skin. And the poop is what makes it itchy. They're pooping all over. Yeah,
this show is really going downhill, man.
Yeah, okay, all right.
We're talking about bugs pooping on us. And...
It's not crap.
But have you noticed more people have appeared in the chat? Yeah. So who knows? I mean, maybe we're really hitting stride with this.
Oh, God.
You know? Says, Matthew Mears, Ryan had crabs.
Yeah. Rebel 444 says, it's not a dick, it's Austin.
What did he say? What did he say?
It's not a tick, it's Austin.
It's not a tick, it's Austin wins.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
We got to come up with Farhan's all-time.
Have you guys seen this? I obviously will not pull it up. It's one of the most horrifying
Blue
things.
Waffle?
Yeah, it's one of the most
I hope that's code for something.
Yeah, it's one of the most horrifying things on the internet. It's very early internet.
Oh, no.
I change that so no one looks it up. All right.
All right. Let's change the subject and talk about Getz. That was a mini mall on Sloat Boulevard in San Francisco. I like that. Hey, Spida 8 is basically he's an SF guy. Austin the Tick wins. LOL.
Jeez. He'll probably get the start Thursday. I hope.
Who's going tomorrow? By the way, what's the pitching matchup tomorrow? I say as I try to change the subject.
Jacob Junis and Merrill Kelly.
So that's like probably our one loss, maybe. If they win that one, then all we have to do is win 1 out of 2. And
your bet would look really good if they win tomorrow.
I know.
Dang.
Yeah, we might need to chase down that segment with some Pasquale.
Do we? Yeah, we might seriously.
Wholesome palate cleanser.
We need something. We need something here. We can't let that segment stand.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
All right. I feel a little bit more cleansed.
I think it's Sunglass Hut, Sean Proctor. I've got a bunch of crap back here.
Sean Proctor, Merrill Kelly shoves against the Giants. Bet the D-backs on the money line. A lot of people use shoves.
Yeah. What is it? What are some other terms?
Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Maybe a little chlamydia for Larry. Oh, thank you.
I had one of my best friend in college.
Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. It's a great sentiment. I mean, my wife appreciates that as well. My family, my kids. I'm sure everybody who's associated with my broadcast career is very proud right now.
I had my best friend in college, actually my roommate. He got chlamydia, and he had this girl that he obviously got with, but he had gotten with no other girls. He got with no other girls, and I knew it because I was freaking his roommate. And he had
the claw. Did he give them the claw?
No, he let this girl who was like nutso, and he was like in love with her, and she like treated him like shit and totally was banging other guys. She gave him chlamydia. She was the only girl he slept with for like 6 months, and then she like gaslit him. That she like got in his head and got him to thinking that maybe like it was one night where he like doesn't remember and that he must have gave it to her, and he believed it. And I was like, dude, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell, man?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go with faulty relationships for 300.
Sean Proctor, Ford Proctor.
Ford Proctor was a Farhan find, right?
Yeah.
Sean Proctor was a fan of the show. Yeah. Ford Proctor was Farhan's big acquisition.
Hey, don't be surprised if Ford Proctor replaces Austin Wins on this roster, because he's a catcher and he can also.
You think they're going to get rid of the Tick? You don't think he's got his you don't think he's leached in?
I mean, he's got other positions that Proctor can play supposedly the infield and a little bit of corner outfield and a catcher. So wouldn't be surprised if that move happens. And another move I'm going to predict. Somebody in the chat earlier tonight, we were talking about Tyler Rogers says he still has, according to something, maybe it was Fangraphs or something, said he had 3. He still has.
My uncle just bought a Ford Proctor fine hybrid.
3. Rogers supposedly has 3 options, minor league options left. Don't be surprised if another arm comes up this week and they send him down.
Really?
Because it's just a guess, just a hunch. Because he's continually. Well, where are you going to put him in next?
Sean Proctor says Ford Proctor was a Farhan find. Sean Proctor was a Krueg show find. Oh man! And Matthew Mears, you guys banging some sluts, getting the clap. All right, things are going well.
All right,
let's do this. Let's take a break and we'll pay the bills, because if you're a sponsor, you want to be closely associated with that last comment on the Krueg show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, call and make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number, 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com, often imitated, never equaled. And they are a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show. Thanks to them as well.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York Style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
And do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York Style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed. We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
Welcome back to the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Dan Coccimilgio, Ryan Smith. We're about almost 2 hours into our live stream after Giants baseball. Giants get a nice win over the Diamondbacks. They're back at it tomorrow. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for a little post-game action. We take one more walk through the chat. There's an awful lot of people in the chat tonight.
And I've got something. I've got a fun story. So, okay, look at this tweet. This is shared by a scientist who has a French scientist with 71,000 followers. And the translation says, photo of Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the sun, located 4.2 light years from us. She was just taken by the JWST. This level of detail, a new world is revealed day after day. Now look at this amazing photo of this planet. So it was later found out that either he was playing a prank or he got pranked by like this, you know, his scientist group chat. That is indeed but a piece of chorizo.
Yeah, I live down here, and then I was. Oh, that is awesome! It's a piece of chorizo.
Hey, Ryan. Right, I'm sending you something. Play this, okay. And this will be just something I just saw on Twitter, and see if anybody would actually eat this. I think this is somebody's. We should be able to play it. Somebody's.
Yeah, this is public domain TikTok.
Yeah, so play this and see. I haven't watched. I had it with the sound down, so it looks pretty hilarious. I did actually see this
come across my feed, and I meant to watch it and didn't. So.
I want to see if Larry, would you do this? Would you eat this? Turn it up there.
Blind react. I'm already trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, we got eggs, milk,
Doritos, and eggs.
Close the top of our bag and lay it down
Trust the process.
Using a rolling pin. I'm gonna this down.
Oh.
Pick that up. Give it a nice shake.
Let's shake it straight.
So everything's coated all
Shake
together.
it and bake it.
Set that aside and
Chicken. Oh.
It's like completes, man.
This way. I'm gonna make them into smaller pieces. I'm using a little bit of pepper.
And
a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder.
She's seasoning.
I'm going to do the same thing to the other side.
This guy's expressions are killing me.
Place it into some flour. Make sure the whole thing's covered.
I might.
Take that up.
I might eat it.
Grab a chicken strip.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Very gently, I'm going to place it in our bag.
And she wearing gloves. Yeah, I'm eating at your place. Yeah.
Do that for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
I can't even find it.
Wow.
I literally can't find it.
That's what he said to me.
Oh, hold on. I found it.
Oh.
What?
That looks fire.
Add some vegetable oil here. Pick up our chicken nice and gently.
What the heck?
Get that in there. Hear that sizzle. Nice and gentle. Don't burn your fingers. A little flip. Nice golden color there. Drain the excess.
Girl, that looks fire.
There.
Yeah.
So good?
Yeah.
Was that chicken or what was that?
That was
It was chicken and
fried
Doritos.
I'd eat I would totally eat that. I just wish it
Chicken
was
and
more like
Doritos.
spicy.
I didn't. Okay.
I like Doritos and I like chicken. I don't know if I like Doritos as the
didn't know-
chicken as
So it's
the.
kind of like cheesy chicken then, huh?
Rebel 444 says she's done so much injustice to mac and cheese. I don't know. I've never seen her before.
The Yay area says R.I.P. Paulie. Who's Paulie?
Polly Walnuts. I think they were talking about like Bisquali. If he was
okay.
The medical
Brian
advice
Lucina,
that-
$5. The medical advice that has been dispensed here tonight is invaluable. Yes.
Yeah, you learned a lot.
Oh, I forgot to answer this one too. Vicky says, Larry, when are you selecting members for fantasy football? So the draft is like, I remember
We're gonna do the draft on the 28th, I believe.
28th.
I might have to do that remote.
So
That's
maybe
okay. Sunday the 28th.
So we can
And
select
as far as when
anytime.
are we going to select members for fantasy football, it will be probably next week. Probably next week we'll do it. But yeah, we definitely want, and we're going to have a draft.
Or August 28th, you meant.
Did I say September? August 28th. Yeah, August 28th.
Jim Malay.
Jesus, Dan, you're so deep into the completes, you don't recognize real protein now. It's
Oh,
Jimmy
man.
Mole. Jimmy Mole just working you in the chat.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think that looks a little
Oof.
better than the completes for sure.
It was hot as hell today, Larry, in the East Bay.
Oh, I know.
Were you over 100 up there today?
It was like 90.
It's hot right now. It's going to be
Yeah.
hot tomorrow because it's a hot night.
Man.
Look at this one, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Treat your VD at home with our help, the Krueg Show. Sean Proctor, Jim Malay, that's the funniest comment of the night. Oh, my God. Jimmy will light it up, man. Jimmy, we go way back. Jimmy will light the room up. Diamond's $5. What is the most locked in you've ever seen a Bay Area athlete? Bonds, Steph, or Montana? Wow.
Bonds.
I mean, or what about
Well,
Bumgarner?
how could you not?
2014?
First of all, how could you say not Bonds? Bonds literally got one pitch to hit in the entire per night in 2001, and he hit it out. One pitch every night, hit it out.
Yeah, he's.
I would
it's
say
hard-
Bonds. I would say
Hard to
Bonds.
say, just specifically 2014 playoffs, Bumgarner maybe.
Let's be honest, guys. If everybody loved Bonds, if he was like this warm, cuddly, lovable creature that everybody loved, he would be given way more respect.
Oh,
the guy was.
If he was
I mean,
that,
think about it. This is an organization that had Willie Mays, and yet you could make an argument that Barry Bonds in the batter's box was better.
It's insane. It's freaking
Think about
insane.
that. Think
He's
about
the best
that.
hitter of all time. If you just
you
don't
would
care
see
about
if
steroids.
Bonds had Curry's personality, you would see Bonds all over baseball. I mean, promotions. He would
I
be.
agree, Graves. I do think that Steph gets held more than both. Okay. Steph this year, game four in Boston, was
Greatest.
the most locked in I've ever seen him.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was unreal.
I was talking to Fitz the other night, and I'm like, man, because he was there for all those games. I'm like, how about Steph game 4? And he's like, maybe the greatest game of his career.
Yeah.
Well,
that,
based on
considering
the stakes, yeah. I mean, that was just unbelievable. They were dead in the water. They were down 3-1.
Look at this one. Eddie Flores. Cool on the coast, but if you move more inland, expect it to get warmer.
Larry.
Somebody's making a 6-figure income saying that night after night. What do you do? It's going to be a little cooler on the coast. There'll be some fog on the coast, but if you go inland, definitely going to be some warmer temperatures inland. And it's going to be kind of toasty out in the East Bay, but it should be cooler on the coast. Absolutely. See you tomorrow, everybody. 6 figures.
Yeah, it's going to be warmer in Walnut Creek by about 2 degrees tomorrow, I'm guessing, than Lafayette. That's
So
just
if
my
you're one
guess.
of these people in Pacifica, it's going to be a little on the cooler side. But, if you're out in Concord, it promises to be kind of warmer out there. Yeah.
My opinion on Barry Bonds in the Hall is I think that in my lifetime, he's going to get let in because all the people in my generation, once the old stuffy reporters are phased out, I think that we're going to find a way to get him in. And it's sort of how I feel about when I was a kid and I just didn't understand what people railing against gay marriage. And it's like, okay, what is the point? This is going to get passed. You're just going to look horrible in 20 years when everyone looks back on your career. It's going to happen. It's not worth it's maybe that's a bad comparison, but
that's
something like that. Or marijuana.
No, I hear you. By the way, what does the weather guy sound like in Phoenix? It's hot. Yeah. Tomorrow it's going to be hot.
It's funny.
Friday it's going to be hot.
When I lived in Connecticut, I looked at the weather report. Watched the Weather Channel, actually. Used to watch it every night because it was it was going to be something different. I never look at the weather because it's going to be the same almost every day. It's going to be 105 plus. When we have the monsoons, when it starts raining, we get
but it's still hot,
storms.
Right?
Still
in the
hot.
monsoon,
it's 90. Yeah, it's muggy. I'd rather have the 100. Personally, I like maybe Graves, since if he's still on listening, he's down here in Arizona. I prefer 108, 110 versus 95 and muggy and the monsoons. That's how I am. But it's hot, and then when winter hits, it's just occasional rain, but it's usually 70 degrees.
Let's finish with this, guys. We said we were going to pick a baseball game for tomorrow.
Okay.
So what are we going with? I'll go first. I kind of like the Giants tomorrow. I think the Giants are now officially going good. It's payback time.
You like him over Kelly?
Yeah, I do.
I was thinking.
I like Junis and the Giants tomorrow against Kelly. The Giants are minus 115. I'll take the Giants.
You know what? I'm going to do what I was thinking about doing today. I didn't pull the trigger, but I'm going to say take the Diamondbacks plus a half run through the first 5. But ultimately, I think the Giants are going to win. But I think that Merrill Kelly is kind of on one versus the Giants. I think that those first 5 innings are going to be tough to score runs.
The only thing is they're due to get them. And it seems like the Giants have a little momentum going right now. And also, the Giants are in this payback mode. I mean, Arizona's absolutely kicked their ass this year, and I just think the Giants are going to even it out here. Danny, who do you got? Who are you going with tomorrow in baseball?
So I got to do a different game, right? I got to do a different game.
No, you probably don't want to go the exact same guy.
I got to peruse the lines, too, here. 1 second.
I'm going to look at – oh, man. There's not great lines tomorrow.
Matthew Mears says Matthew Mears was saying, where do you guys bet in Cali? And Brian Lucena says Pasquale makes book.
Yeah.
We blew up with a Sunday dinner.
And a 2-team parlay.
Okay, I'm coming up with a 2-team parlay right now.
Tomorrow's a tough day because there's no massive favorites, the pitching matchups.
Dan, you got to get out the mud. Can't just pick the easy ones.
I know. I think the Dodgers tomorrow play they've got a rookie coming up.
I like St. Louis as well. I'd take St. Louis at home against Colorado. You got Quintana going against Freeland. Quintana's been good all year. Cardinals are tough at home.
Brewers
I like
have
that.
Woodruff going tomorrow against
Cardinals are minus 235 though.
Rookie for the Dodgers. Ryan.
I like the Brewers. I like the Brewers tomorrow.
I like the Brewers tomorrow with Woodruff. Dodgers have struggled against Woodruff in the past.
Pepio? Is that who's going for LA?
Yeah. Did you hear about Walker Buehler? He's out for the year. He's having elbow surgery on the 23rd this month.
Wow.
They don't know if it's Tommy John. If it's Tommy John, he's shot for next year too. I mean, that's just a big blow for the Dodgers.
I also like the Red Sox. Red Sox are minus 140. It's Nick Pivetta against Mitch Keller at Pittsburgh.
Here's a prediction. if Bueller is Tommy John and he's out for next year, watch the Dodgers go sign Carlos Rodon in the offseason free agency. They'll just replace.
Good.
him.
Maybe that means they won't be able to re-sign Trey Turner.
Yeah, they have there's some decisions they've got to make. There's probably a few guys that they will have to. In fact, I just saw it. I didn't read the article, but there was something out there that said the Dodgers have a tough decision if they want to retain Trey Turner.
Sean Proctor said he went 3-0 today. He had LA on the money line, Atlanta on the money line, and he had Toronto, Baltimore over 9.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
You know what? Also, guys, we should do the same way we did the NFL team draft. We should do a college football team draft.
A what?
A college football team draft, like just something to it could be
as long as I get my Aggies, I'm happy.
Yeah, have your Aggies.
You talking Texas A&M? You like the Aggies?
I'm an Aggie fan.
Really?
Oh yeah, going back to Jackie Sherrill.
Do you have the ring?
Hold on, I'll show you something really cool.
How about this one?
I was thinking about going out to Tuscaloosa for A&M and Bama. How would you like to do that, Ryan? Go out to
that would be freaking sick.
I did it. I went to Texas A&M for Bama. I'm going to send you the pictures.
You went to Kyle Field?
Yep, I sure did.
What'd you think of it? It's all renovated. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, it was awesome. Loved it. I'm going to show it to you real quick here, Rye, and you can put it on. I've got some highlights. I'll see. I'm just trying to find it. That was in September.
I'll give a futures bet out. I like Utah to win the Pac-12. In fact, I've already put money on it.
Over Oregon?
Over Oregon and SC.
SC's not in the Pac-12.
They are next year still.
Oh, that's right. There, one more year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Do you have any Heisman sleepers, Lair?
I'm
trying to look at that. Like Bijan Robinson, if Texas is good, could be.
Yeah, he's good.
I liked him last year.
The running back.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick ponder on that one real quick.
Yeah.
Play that. That's my video.
The Big 12 is a good you can get plus money on everyone. Oklahoma's plus 150. Texas.
CJ Stroud's the favorite.
Yeah, Stroud's the favorite. So you don't normally want to go with the favorite. I feel like it's fun to find the
I'll say this: the Buckeyes running back Travion Henderson. I mean, he's pretty freaking great. I don't know how. I like him a lot. I think Sam Hartman's going to put up crazy numbers for Wake. No doubt in my mind.
I love.
How about Jackson Smith? Whatever for Ohio State.
Oh, the wide receiver.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce Young is a pretty safe pick too with Bama.
I know, but it's hard to get it 2 years in a row. Well, yeah, it's. I'm trying to find like the long shotty type. Like I remember last year I had Matt Corral and he was like 50-1, and that was like pretty fun for a little bit.
I'll give you a couple good long shots. I like Will Levis from Kentucky. He's 66-1.
Yes. Talk to me.
Okay, I like him quite a bit. He's got a huge arm, though they did lose their number one receiver. It's so hard now in the transfer portal because all these guys are on different teams. I mean, Spencer Rattler's now at South Carolina. Dylan Gabriel's no longer at Central Florida. He's at Oklahoma.
What about Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson.
He's 33-1. I mean, he's freaking electric. And if
Jackson Dart, the SC kid who's now at Ole Miss.
Hey, Ryan, play that first video.
I would say Bryce. If I had to bet somebody, I'd probably say I'd go with Bryce Young.
Have you been to Kyle Field there, Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Check this. I was unbelievable. It was in 2017, Texas A&M, Alabama, and the crowd. I just loved the crowd. It was just the college atmosphere for football. It's just
the best.
Yes, I went to a game in see Alabama that year as well. Went to 2 Alabama games that year.
Dan, I can't play. It's it kind of okay. Can I save it for the next show or for when we do the college football thing? Because I need to like put it through a converter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's
if you guys could take one team, who would you take
for college football?
Yeah,
I'll take Alabama.
Danny going severe chalk.
I mean, if I'm gonna.
What about Clemson coming off a down year? They might have the best defense in the country.
I mean, Georgia's still stacked.
They're still stacked.
You know, and they got Bennett. They got Bennett coming back.
It just seems like crazy though that they lost so many defensive players. But I mean, they grow them on trees. So
I'd probably go Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's going to be.
It's the Buckeyes year.
You think though, because Alabama's down.
Buckeyes have a great quarterback. Buckeyes have a tremendous running back. Buckeyes have an incredible receiving core. I mean, the Buckeyes are so blue chip. It's unbelievable.
Wait, you know what? I have a sleeper Heisman. This was the guy I was going to bet. Okay, so if DJ, I just call him DJU because I can't pronounce his last name, but the quarterback for Clemson,
or whatever,
he was so horrible last year, and if he starts out the year and
quarterback for Clemson or
for Clemson, and I think they still will be able to win because their defense is so good, but if he starts out the year shaky, the kid behind him was like the #1 recruit in this class. I don't remember his name, but whoever that quarterback is that's behind him, if like, let's say, DJ's like, plays 3 games and then they replace him, and then Clemson goes on this giant run, Jim. That could be a Heisman.
Jimmy Mole says, hitting the sack, fellas, heading to the ballpark tomorrow. I'll check in on the way home. All right,
I got to do the same. I've got an 8:15 epidural in my neck tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah. They got
what? What's going on? You got disc issues?
I got disc issues. Yeah, I've got a
epidural, man. I had one of those because I had a disc surgery and it didn't really work on me. But I'll tell you, just the fact anytime you get a shot in your spine, it's like so center that it annoyed me to hell. I just could not stand it.
Yeah,
it didn't work. It didn't work for me at all.
I had in 17, I had a disc replaced, and I had before they do it, I always do the conservative first. So I had 2 epidurals. Didn't take, so then they replaced the disc, but I've got one other disc that's it's pressing on the the cord, the spinal cord, so I get numbness.
Oh man, good luck, man. Don't get the curve. Don't puncture your spinal column.
I know. I hope. Yeah. Jeez.
Hopefully the guy ask him if he stayed at a Courtyard Marriott last night or how long he's been doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh.
How skilled are you? Yeah. What you know what they say? The guy who graduated last in his medical school. You know what they call him? Doctor.
Yeah.
Remember that. DJ Venus. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Ryan. All right, guys. Good stuff.
Hopefully I'm not on the show tomorrow night.
What's happening with Danny? Well, he's having persistent migraines because he's got a spinal fluid leak.
We're not quite buying it, though. We think he got Botox.
Got ringworm.
He's got the claw. He's got the claw. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle.